Hello, I am Holly Pendergast, magnetic marketing and business coach. And this is Chelsea. She was one of my one-on-one clients, and she's going to talk about her experience working one-to-one together. And let's have you go ahead and introduce yourself, Chelsea.
I'm Chelsea. My Instagram handle is Make with Chels, and I run a paint night, a local paint night community, as well as teaching people how to become more creative, and how to and find out what creativity can do for them inside of their body and how it can help them in their daily life.
Yeah, she's an amazing artist. You should definitely go follow her. She's a muralist. She's coming up with all kinds of offers, but I'm so excited to tell other people about you. Okay, so tell us a little bit about what it was like for you to work with me one-to-one, because I know so many people are, wanting to maybe work with me, but are like, I don't really know what it's like. So what was it like for you?
Yeah. So initially jumping into doing one-to-one was something that felt really scary, but felt like a really good next move for me. So I had been in a corporate arena for 8 years and I had decided to leave that. It was no longer serving me. And that alone felt so scary. That leap alone was just like terrifying. And in that moment, it felt like there was a blank slate and I had so many like creative juices of what to do with it. But I wanted some direction and some help and just to help like funnel everything so I could be as efficient as I possibly could be. Um, I knew that, and like I've done similar things like this before. I knew that I could do it without coaching, but for me, what it felt like was it's going to take 10 times longer doing it by myself. I'm going to have so much more trial and error doing it by myself. So I was just ready to make this leap where I'm going to expedite my success and all of the things. And so that's kind of what led me to decide to make the leap and sign up to do one-on-one coaching.
Awesome.
Um,
Yeah.
so okay, next, should I kind of talk about like the experience of what it was in the
Yeah.
beginning?
Yeah.
Okay.
What was like in the beginning and tell us like where you ended up.
Okay. So in the beginning, I was just starting to work as a contractor for a sports agency, helping represent different athletes. And that's when I realized there's so many athletes out there that need help with their social media and their personal branding and their marketing. And that was sort of the background I had from corporate. So I was kind of taking like all this knowledge I'd had, all these things I learned from the last 8 years of this corporate job and kind of bringing it into kind of this new arena. And so I decided to start a coaching business for athletes. So this was super exciting. I learned a lot about myself, about my own fears with showing up on social media, and doing all the things there, and and really how to reach people and address um, their own fears. So I think that that was initially what I was really noticing is like what it is that's holding people back from, especially athletes, from getting what it is that they want.
And what was that that growing pain for you like? Tell us more, because we did a lot of like stretching in the beginning for your learning curve of showing up on social media. And P.S., there's a major plot twist in here that's coming, but you really gained so many amazing skills and you showed up so brilliantly in that business.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that, because then there's a plot twist coming, but tell us a little bit about that growth.
Yeah. So in the beginning it was like I obviously had enough courage to do this that I thought I could do it. But then when it actually came up to like sh showing up and making it happen, there was a lot of fear.
What was your fear of?
I think just I don't know, maybe people thinking what's the word? Um like I think I had a lot of imposter syndrome around
Mm-hmm.
showing up on social media and people thinking like, I don't know, who's this chick? Why does she think that she can teach professional athletes about how to market themselves?
Mm-hmm.
So I think there was a lot of that to kind of get over.
Yeah, because you started at like just a handful of followers, right?
Yeah, like zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You started
It was
from
like,
zero. which a lot of people do. And I did too, right? So starting from zero can feel like that. Like I just want to normalize it for people that are listening, that like starting from zero is like, there's a lot of imposter syndrome, and that's totally fine. Right?
Mhm.
So what did you do with that imposter syndrome?
And just kind of
Yeah, you're like, it's fine. I got you.
but I mean, like it was like a constant battle of being like, no, I can't do this, to like, no, I can do this. And it was
Yeah.
like a constant reminder, a constant mind shift actually, that I was
Mhm.
constantly having to readdress to get
Mhm.
myself back on track.
Yeah.
Um, because it was like there's two people in my brain. One was saying
Yeah.
like you can, and I was like, no, you can't.
Right.
And so it was like learning how to like soothe both of those. Like
Mm,
when the other side of my brain was saying like, no, don't go market yourself, don't like have like all these business dreams, like you can't do it. The only way you can make money is if you go work in corporate again. That's the only way. And I had a lot of that drama, and so it was honestly like a daily like shh.
yeah. Yeah, like patting it on the back, like it's
Yeah.
okay.
Like, of course you're gonna feel like this. Like, actually, it's sort of like it's almost like I had to do therapy of like
Mhm.
undoing my corporate self, actually.
Right. And this
Um,
happens so commonly, is it's even if you haven't worked for corporate, is like you get used to like and accustomed to like one way of teaching and training, and then it works for you for a little while, and then you have to unlearn it and burn it to the ground and rebuild your own rules.
yeah.
Which what I see for you is like quite literally what you did, because you had a giant plot twist in your journey. So we were working on this business, and then tell us what happened that had you switch into being this amazing paid artist who is leading workshops and doing murals and all the things.
So yeah, I came December and I just all of a sudden felt super, super burnt out, which
Yeah.
often happened when I was working in my corporate job.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, I'm just going to take a break over Christmas break. I want to just be with my kids, be super present, not worry about this, and just like have a minute. So that just felt, I was just assuming, okay, I'm going to take a break over Christmas break. That's fine. And when we come back after, like in the new year, we'll be ready to go and we're going to get things hot and rolling again. And that alone felt scary to like give myself a break, because it's like, no, if you stop, then I don't know. There's a lot of coaching there, letting myself
Yeah.
take that break, because I was afraid of what would happen if I stopped.
Hmm.
Um, which is funny because it led to the whole plot twist.
Right.
So then January comes around. I'm like, all right, here we go.
Hmm.
And then it just like wasn't coming. It was like, I don't want to do this anymore,
Hmm.
even though it's weird because I do like still today, I'm like, I'll find myself thinking about it. I'll be
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, that would actually, I could, yeah. And then I just have to choose the track that feels
Mhm.
like more passionate to me. So anyway,
This is so
then,
good though. I'm gonna pause you right here.
okay.
Because Chelsea is an amazing example of a highly talented, extremely skilled, very smart entrepreneur that she can do a lot of things. So your brain's still like, I could do that, right? And this is a lot of us, is we are multi-passionate, multi-talented. But just because you can do something doesn't mean that you want to. And what Chelsea was explaining is like, we did so much coaching on what do you want to do? Because you could do that business, right? But your body in January was like, nope, we are not doing that anymore, right? And honoring that is a whole nother journey and success, because so many of us will be like, well, I could, I should, I already started that, so I have to finish it, right? And tell us about like your transition to like allowing yourself to do what you wanted.
Yeah. So a lot of it in the beginning started out just like I didn't even Holly was like super on to me. She was like, but what do you want? Like I
Yeah.
just thought, okay, I'm burnt out. How
Mhm.
can we fix this burnout? Which I'm sure we could have if
Yeah.
that's what was the right thing.
Mhm.
But Holly was super good at being like, what do you want? And I would just be like, I don't know. I swear for
Yeah.
like at least 2 weeks, he
Yeah.
kept asking me, what do I want? And I was like, I don't know what I want, Holly. I don't know what I want. I'm like crying. There was so much crying.
I know. And that's so normal and common. And that like is so necessary, is like the resistance piece. Because I could
Mhm.
tell you would have these like and this is where like I have a little bit of psychic abilities, is like I'm like, girl, what are you doing? Because I know there's something else in you. There's a glimmer of something else. And part of it would like peep out here and there. And I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
Artist. part of you, right? And it was just like that. It was like, don't look, don't look.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm so glad that you allowed yourself to know, because there's so many people that won't allow themselves to know what they want, when
Yeah.
really they really know exactly what they want. They're just afraid.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, like I'm saying, at least 2 weeks of you being like, but what do you want? And then
Yeah.
finally, I don't know, eventually, maybe like the third coaching session, you're like, just like blank slate.
Yeah. Blank
What,
slate it.
like, just like empty
Mhm.
pages.
Yes.
Well, if it really, I would just like want to paint murals all the time. And like, that's what I would want to do.
Yeah. It just like came pouring out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then that was still really scary for a minute.
Mhm.
And then I went with my friends to a paint night and I was like, I should do this. Like,
Yes.
this feels like easy to me. Like, why
Mhm.
am I not already doing this? This is something that, like, for my body is just easy and I can see
Yeah.
it happening.
Mhm.
And so I think I came in the next session. I was like, well, I kind of like started this. I didn't even tell Holly about it at first. I just like
Yes, you should
booked it.
tell.
I was like, I'm just gonna book this night at this venue. We're gonna make this happen.
Love it.
And
Yes.
because I would like still like had shame around it. It was weird
Mm.
because it was like I should be spending time on this. And that's why I've like I didn't tell Holly. I initially would have been like, Holly, guess what I just did, but I didn't because I
Yeah.
feel like I felt shame, which is so it's weird, but I did. So yeah, then I decided to start my very first paint night,
Uh-huh.
a local paint night. And it's just it really excites me because it's all about supporting women. And also I've like a new niche I've realized is like women's kids too.
Mm.
um just like really leaning into this creative side of our brains that we so often just like totally neglect. And
Yes.
there's so much power there when we just like we need to let ourselves, our bodies, our brains be creative just like a little bit in life because so much of life
Mhm.
is spent not being creative.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. What do you think was like the catalyst for you just taking a bunch of action and like making that social media account and like planning a paint night? Like, what was the catalyst for you?
Oh, I just had to really let go of everything, like completely let go of everything that I thought I should do, all the shoulds
Hmm.
and all the money worries, all the money drama,
Yes.
um, and just really quiet that side of my brain and then just lean into my gut. It was so much of just like trusting my gut and
Mm-hmm.
what my gut wanted. Yeah.
And where did your gut lead you? Where are you now?
Yeah. So now I am leading monthly paint nights, which is so fun.
Amazing.
And I'm bringing on new mural
Mhm.
clients, going and painting murals at people's homes.
Mhm.
And I'm also doing some other random crafty things that just feel fun right now.
Yeah.
And kind of leading into this like art side of me that for so long I just haven't been paying attention to, which is like really where my grassroots came from and
Yeah.
from the beginning.
Right. Yes, because so many of us are our own niche, right? And then we like get, oh my God, we get like so inspired that this, and then we like have to go teach it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at like what do you feel like you're most proud of in terms of your transformation?
What am I most proud of? Um, this might be a little bit repetitive, but really one of the things that I'm most proud of is like undoing the corporate brain that was so like fixed in me. Like, um, hold on,
Huge.
need to
Yeah.
turn this
Yeah.
do not disturb. Sorry.
To be clear,
Uh,
that's a giant triumph,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Like, this whole. I remember one time Holly was talking to me about how the like the corporate it's almost like a patriarchy thing, like the
Hmm.
9 to 5 work week was built by men and
Yes.
how like
By men for men. Yes.
yes and how like we don't have to listen to that as like as really any women but really anybody like
Yeah.
if that's not like what's right for our body. That
Hmm.
was such a brain explosion for me.
Yeah.
And when I let myself really think, oh, I don't actually have to follow this way of like this 9 to 5 work life,
Mhm.
um that really like started to soothe some of the fears inside of me and also bring up a lot of other ones.
Right. Yeah. What were the other thoughts? Because there's like a soothing of like, oh, I don't have to do things that way. And then there's
Mhm.
like the whole other fear of like, okay, then what's it gonna look like? Right? Is
Right.
that what you're talking
Yeah.
about? Or like tell us
Yes.
about those fears.
Yeah. So one fear was like um a whole money thing. Like, am I
Mhm.
even gonna be able to make money doing this?
Yeah,
That was a
as an artist. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, there's like thoughts about entrepreneurs like, am I even going to make money on this offer, this idea? And then there's like the whole artist piece, right? And what did you find out? Because by the way, Chelsea did this work like towards the end of us working together, and like the last portion of us working together, she has created exponential growth because she has followed her gut. She knows what it feels like. She knows how to handle her fears. She knows the selling that we learned earlier in the program. And we've talked about social media and branding and showing up. So this was just like an amazing learning curve that she has totally changed everything, right? So since January, and by the way, it's not even the end of March yet. We're heading into the end of March, but you have really created so much change within you internally in your beliefs, right? Going from, I don't know if I could make money doing this to like having the best night ever in your paint night, right?
Yeah.
Your most successful one.
Yes.
Tell
Yes.
us about it.
So I want to actually back up for a second because you reminded me of something. One of my fears was like, I just invested in a life coach, a business coach to help
Yeah.
me with this business.
Yeah.
We're towards the end. Like, I think that there was like a
Yes.
month and a half or so left when I really, maybe
Hmm.
2 months. Anyway, either way, it felt that was one of the fears
Yeah.
is like when you invest in something,
Hmm.
you're like, but I've already put this much into it, so I have to stay over
Right.
here. That was also one of
Forever.
yeah, forever. Yeah.
Right.
But then I learned, and you helped me realize, Holly, like I can still take all of these things that we worked on over here, which is successful and could be successful if I
Mhm.
just keep going that way and shift it all the way over here to the thing that
Yes.
really felt easier in my body.
Yes, absolutely. So whatever field you're in right now, like, and this has happened to me too, because I've had previous businesses where like I learned a lot. Like I learned how to do an email list, but then I changed that entire business. And I was like, well, I still know how to build an email list. I still know how to, show up on social media. So absolutely, she was able, it like doesn't matter what you're doing as long as you're taking action, that she has now been able to reap the benefits of having gained those skills in whatever she was building and take them into what she loves doing. Right? That was such a beautiful transformation. Because
Yeah.
yeah, it does feel like, oh man, especially like you spent thousands of dollars on coaching to build this business, right? And we
Yeah.
can forget, like, oh, that means I have to burn it to the ground, and it was a waste of time, it was a waste of money, it was a waste of energy, and all those people know me as this now. And it's like, so what? You get to still use everything you built and take it with you everywhere. So yeah, I always recommend start where you are. Take scary, massive action and you will grow. And that's the thing that you get to take with you with your self-concept.
Yes. I love that.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about, because I do this with people that I don't think a lot of coaches do this, but I do a lot of role playing with my clients of like, I want you to like make me an offer, right? And then like we would step into the role of like I was getting made an offer and you were offering something or selling. Can you tell us a little bit about what that was like for you?
Yeah, I hated it. I was like, no,
Everyone
Holly, this is
hates it, right?
so hard. This is so hard for me. I hate
Yeah,
this, Holly.
I
But
know.
in the end, it's so much like doing that repetition and doing it in somewhere that's it's like actually not a scary environment, just practicing it, even
Yeah,
though it like, feels scary, but
yeah.
just practicing that a little bit one-on-one with each other
Hmm.
made it so much easier to like then go out into the outside world and actually take action on what we talked about
Right.
in our coaching
Yeah,
sessions.
totally. It's like a dress rehearsal that it's like, it feels so uncomfortable. And I totally know that it is. And I do it with my clients to grow them because once you get that practice, now you know how to make a real offer to somebody who's actually going to pay you money. Right. So it actually does grow you when I challenge you to do that. But yeah.
And then not only just like challenging once, but then being like, okay, try it again
Yeah.
and like go like further down that way. Like you were so
Yes.
onto it or something. Just
Mhm.
would really push what I felt like were the limits of what I could say to somebody.
Right. Yeah. Because we have all these thoughts and fears and conditioning about what's okay to talk about, what's okay to say, if we're okay to talk about money, if we're okay to like set boundaries, right? We have all these like, well, when you're like a woman growing up, you're like socialized to be a people pleaser and don't be too much and don't be too forward and all those things that like we have to actually learn how to tame in order to actually make offers and be someone in business,
Mhm.
right? Can we
And the other
talk
thing
about,
is
oh
like,
yeah,
oh, I just remembered one other thing about doing the role playing
yeah.
is it really helped me get in the brain of my client.
Hmm.
Because you helped bring up you know, things that they would probably be worried about, some
Hmm.
objections that they might have
Hmm.
that like I had to really, really think about all of those things. So that was another super helpful thing. It just helped me learn about my who my clients are and what my niche is
Yes.
more. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, like studying your niche and studying their thoughts, their fears, their desires is the most beneficial thing you could do, right? Because now you know how to soothe those fears. Now you know how to make offers. It's exciting for them to buy, right? What have you experienced so far, like knowing those tools and creating content with those tools of knowing how to talk about objections or fears?
I'm like maybe this much more sassy.
Yes, yes.
And
Tell us
like
more about that.
I definitely, well, first of all, I just want to say I know there's like a lot more growth and I'm
Mhm.
really excited to do that work. But
Yes.
every day I'm working on it more and more
Mhm.
and realizing that um when you're talking to somebody who wants to come to your event or
Mhm.
wants to partner
I
with you,
know. Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
it is you're doing, um just be they want to, but they're going to have reasons why they're going to say no. And
Mhm.
so really learning how to talk to that and really helped me um yeah, just learn more about how to market things in a more efficient way.
Yes. Yes.
um, and to be able to then go like yeah, make more Instagram reels or talk to people on stories and really feel like I can connect with them and connect with like what it is that they're scared of, why they
Right.
might come even though they want to, um, and really help support them so they
Mhm.
can do the same growth and reap the benefits of why it is actually good to come to a paint night or whatever it is.
Yeah. Which like and I just want to like offer to people listening like this is how I teach it is like it's a service to help them with their thoughts and fears about what is paint night? I don't even know. Am I going to fit in? Am I going to have somebody to talk to? What if I have social anxiety? What if I've never painted before? And Chelsea does such an amazing job of relaxing people into like, don't worry, it's going to be fun. Don't worry, you don't need to know how to paint. You just need to bring your cute little self here and we will do it together. And that's what people need. And that selling skill is a service to them. And that's really how I'd love to teach sales is like it's serving them to help them with their brains.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Even something that I really learned from Holly was that even setting boundaries is a service. So for
Yes.
example, here's just one. Um, so I've been letting like there's been a couple times where people end up not being able to show up to paint night.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
And so they're like, oh, can we roll over our paint night to the next paint night to the next month? And I've been like, yeah. And generally they're like my friends. I
Yeah.
want to do it out of like
Right.
generosity and it feels right. But this last paint night, I was like, um, it's starting to be a little bit of a problem because all of a
Yep.
sudden I have these open seats that I'm trying to sell,
Hmm.
and then the people that I thought were going to be there weren't there.
Right.
So I realized that not doing this rollover thing is a service to me, but also it's a service to the client because they have objections and they just think when those objections come up or when they're like, oh, somebody's coming over to my house to help fix something, I better be here for it. Instead of being like, no, I paid for paint night. I invested in paint night and I
Yeah.
can't miss it or else I'm out that money. Like that serves them because it's going to make them
Yes.
a cute little booty to paint night.
Yes.
And so, yeah, it helped me realize like putting boundaries and being like, oh, actually, it's not going to roll over actually serves them because it's going to help them get
Mhm.
there because they should be there. And of course, like
Yes.
bad stuff happens and sometimes you can't make it, right? But
Mhm.
like in the long run, I think it's just realizing fears come up, and then last minute you're going to want to like come up with a reason, or something will come up. So you're not going to come, and it actually really serves everybody to not let that
Yes.
happen.
Right. And boundaries are those things that help everyone feel safe and know what to expect and know, like, I know Chelsea's going to hold this boundary for me, and it's going to teach me to prioritize my creativity, myself, my alone time, especially for moms out there that are like, oh, I can't do it because I have mom things to do, right? They totally neglect themselves, and then they keep reinforcing the pattern that they don't have time to come be creative with you, right?
Yes.
So it actually, yeah, it's such a service. That is so good. Ah, yay. Um, let's talk about, like, for those that are listening that like have some fears or some doubts about like hiring a one-to-one coach, like what were some of your fears or hesitations that are not like actual that like aren't actually like things you had to do? For example, like I'm afraid she's gonna give me like 5 hours of homework and then I won't be able to like I don't know, like go on date night anymore. Or I'm afraid that like I'm not gonna get my money's worth. Like, let's help some of those people who have those thoughts with like sharing your experience.
Yeah. Let's talk about the money one. I think that was
Okay.
probably the biggest one. And I would assume for most people, that's probably the biggest
Yeah.
one.
Hmm.
Like, um, yeah, what if, yeah, just a lot of fears of like, what if this business that I'm trying to start or that I'm
Hmm.
already have going isn't going to make back the profit that I spent on this
Hmm.
coach or
Yeah.
whatever. There's so much drama behind the money of
Right.
investing in anything, like
Hmm.
any sort of educational thing.
Yeah.
And so this one was interesting for me, right? Because I was in this like athlete coaching arena, and there was like money coming in from that.
Hmm.
And so that was another reason why it like felt scary to like stop. Is like, wait, I've invested this money and I've invested in this coach to
Hmm.
be here. But when you realize like that when you can receive money even for yourself, like
Hmm.
invest in yourself, then your growth is exponential, even if you don't see it like right away. So maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe you're not going to see like I know that a lot of Holly's clients might be seeing tons of money come in right away.
Hmm.
But for some people, like for me, and for example, where like I had this big shift from like money was coming in to like
Hmm.
I'm choosing to not do that anymore. There's still that value because of everything that you've learned from coaching and applying it into a new space.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, money can feel scary, but just really looking at it as like an investment that you will get back. Yeah, you will, no matter what, even if
Yeah.
it's monetarily, like you will, because you're going to be a better at marketing. But then just um like for yourself, it's just so worth it to be able to learn these skills and be able to take them anywhere in your life.
Yes, absolutely. And like I used to have this thought too around like if I don't make my money back in this amount of time, it wasn't worth like, but who's to say what the timeline is? Because like these skills that you learn, like you'll use them your entire career of anything you're selling. So whether you make the money back now in a 6 month container or not, like learning those skills is the value, right? And like growing yourself and your visibility edge and learning how to talk about pricing and setting boundaries, like those are all like the results that people create that they forget are so valuable. But yeah, I love that you brought up that people get hooked on like the dollar amount is like that is coming. It's on its way. It's certain if you keep selling, you keep marketing, you get better at it. And I just love your approach to it too, is like you see it as like a holistic thing that like absolutely the money is on its way. And I learned all these tools that were invaluable that you can't just buy. You can't buy the skill of feeling comfortable on camera, but you can build it, right? You can build it. And that in it alone is going to be a foundational skill that's going to grow your business like crazy, like Chelsea.
Yeah.
Love it. Let's see. Anything else you want to share about your transformation that you want to kind of use as an additional celebration?
Just that I'm so proud that this transformation happened and that I took the leap to do coaching, because I don't know that if I had somebody as experienced with Holly as like being tuned into people's brains, and somebody like me, my own brain as an entrepreneur who is obsessed with so many different things,
Yeah.
I don't think that I would have been able to make this leap. And so I'm
Mhm.
so glad that I had Holly as a coach, so that I can do really scary things and that I can follow this path that might feel like, as an entrepreneur, it's like this, just like
Yeah.
all over the place.
Yes.
And to just have that support from somebody to be like, this is normal. It's okay to like go through all the ups and downs. You're an entrepreneur. That is what it is. And to just have somebody like in your corner like that is invaluable.
Amazing. Okay, last question. Who would you recommend the 6-month one-on-one coaching container for?
Okay. I would recommend the one-to-one coaching for anybody who has had like a festering business idea
Hmm.
for their whole life. Not for their whole
Yes.
life necessarily, but like for me, I mean, ever since I was a kid, I was always doing these new entrepreneurial things. Like when I was tiny, I was selling jewelry door to door. And like, I think there's always been something I've been doing like that.
Yeah.
It's just like the way my brain is
Look at those
working.
earrings. She made those earrings. Look how cute those are. She's an artist through and through.
Yeah.
And she
And so,
could do corporate if she wants.
yeah, whatever.
If she wants to.
Yeah. So I would just say anybody who has like this drive inside of them and feels this like entrepreneurial drive or a creative drive to do something and make something out in the world, but you just need to like have it honed in a little bit, because I've
Mhm.
been doing all sorts of things like literally my whole life.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel more on track and focused than I ever have. Like I can finally actually make this business dream come true because I have somebody in my corner who can help me expedite the process, because I'm not doing so much trial and error.
Yes. Can you just talk a little bit about trial and error a little bit more? Because I too am so the kind of person that's like, let's just DIY it. Let's just take all the resources and do it. And I thought that that was the way. And I actually had like so much pride in myself around doing that. But it took me so long to build my first business, which was my photography business. And for those of us who are so scrappy, so resourceful, can you just tell us a little bit about like the trial and error and how that helped you in working together?
Yeah. And first of all, I'll agree with you. I'm the same. I'm
Hmm.
definitely scrappy. I'm the one like
Yeah.
looking at YouTube videos, like currently,
Yeah.
even like this new idea that's in my brain for like another craft thing that I could like
Hmm.
take and sell. I'm
Hmm.
obsessed with it and I can't stop watching all the videos, right?
Yeah. Yes.
But like, so that's totally how my brain is too.
Yeah.
So, but now like I've found so much value in coaching because um there are some things that like no matter how much trial and error you do on your own, that it can't make up for itself in terms of time. And
Yes.
trial and error, I would say, there are some things that just there's not enough trial and error, like
Mm.
especially when it comes to like presenting on camera,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
talking on social media.
Hmm.
um like I personally, I needed somebody to help me do that in person. I couldn't just like watch a YouTube video about it,
Yeah.
or like.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I mean, all the years that Holly has had building a business and learning how to run all these things, it's
Hmm.
like all of a sudden that's you. Like you have all of that because you have such an expert in your corner.
Amazing. Okay, Chelsea, I'm so excited for your next step because she enrolled in the Bougie Bitch Mastermind. So go follow her now because she has created so much transformation. She's about to go make so much more. She's having, from the observer standpoint, so much fun in your business, in your marketing. And I just can't wait to see what you create next. So you better go follow her. Tell us again your social media handle and like how we can reach you. Can we get on an email list? Where are you? Where are these paint nights? Give us the last showdown.
Yeah. So my Instagram handle is make with Chels, make with and then CHELS is how you spell my name.
Mhm.
So go follow me on Instagram. If you want to hop on a subscriber list, my email subscribing list, just go ahead and send me a DM with your email. I can get you on there. The email subscribers, it's a fun group to be in because you get the very first sneak peek at all of the upcoming paint nights. So you get the first reveal of what it looks like, and then you get the first tickets when before doors open to the public, you get first access to like buying tickets and registering. So So paint nights happen in Fillmore, Utah, a cute little town. And I
Yes.
mean, I know it literally is far away from most things, but I've had clients drive 2 hours to come and join me in paint night because it's worth investing in yourself to do something fun. So first of all, if you're like, I live far away, like it's really not that far.
It's
Like
so worth
literally,
it.
it's like probably an hour and a half from where most of you might live if you're in the
Mhm.
Utah area. And then I just had a brain moment. What else was I going to say about it?
Tell us about, do you have a mural offer?
Oh yeah, my mural offering. Yeah. So I'm super excited about my mural offering. I'm just reopening this up. It's a new offering that will be for this summertime. And it's super fun because it's a way to kind of work a creative piece into your home.
Mhm.
And you can do either we can work together on like what you kind of want it to look like. So even if you're not an artist, but you have just like and a little idea, we brainstorm back and forth until the piece is what you want it to look like. And then I come into your home and I paint it. And if you're the type that you're like, I want to learn how to do murals, we can work together as a collaboration in this process. And I can teach you all of the steps to doing it. And you get to help me paint it. And literally all of the stuff I know about murals becomes yours because we do it holding hands.
Oh, so amazing. I can't wait to see this. I'm for sure watching everything you do. I love seeing your behind the scenes, your time lapses. It's so much fun. Go follow her. Okay,
Yay.
Chelsea, thank you so much for being here, and
Thank
we
you.
will talk soon. Have a good one.
Bye.